Do you ever feel like you're walking around on eggshells? Maybe you just can't do enough. Whatever you do, it's wrong. Maybe you're second guessing yourself. Well, these just are not random feelings, my friends. They are signs that you could be in a narcissistic relationship. Today, I want to walk with you and explain the 7 signs that you could possibly be in a narcissistic relationship. My friends, my name is Lisa. Welcome to my channel. I am my beloveds. Welcome, friends, to my front porch. This is where I discuss topics such as narcissistic abuse, toxic relationships, how to heal and become all that God had intended for you to be. Today, I want to talk to you about 7 signs that you could actually be in a relationship with a narcissist and you don't even realize it. My friends, I was. This happened to me and I had no clue what was going on. I understand what it's like to be in a constant state of confusion. They whip your mind around so fast in this merry-go-round, you don't know up from down. You're constantly confused, constantly trying to fix yourself, constantly trying to do more to please them. If that's you, sit down, get a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and let's chat about 7 signs that you could be in a narcissistic relationship. Because my goal here today is to inform you what those signs are so that your eyes can be opened and you can take an inventory of your life, your relationship, take back your power, and with God's help, move forward and be all that He intended you to be. Because that's for sure not what the narcissist wants for you, but it's what God wants for you. So let's talk about sign number 1. Sign number 1 that you could be in a narcissistic relationship. Do you always feel like you're wrong? Does the narcissist, no matter what it is, make you feel like whatever you have to say is wrong? That's how they blame shift. They will not take responsibility of their own self. They do not take responsibility that something that they did was wrong. It's you. They weren't wrong, but it's you. You heard them wrong. You misunderstood them. They're always the victim and they're always blaming other people. So that is number 1. Number 2, are you constantly doubting yourself? I know I was. I was constantly in a state of doubt, doubting myself, doubting what I'm feeling, doubting um, especially what I'm feeling, even though my gut told me that this was wrong. I still doubted my own feelings. Why? Because they train you. They train you to be dependent upon them. They train you to be dependent upon what they feel. And when you're constantly trying to please them, that's what happens. You can't even trust yourself. So you're constantly doubting yourself. You doubt your memory. Oh my God, they are so good at twisting. When you try to have a conversation with them, saying, Bob, and I just use Bob as an example, what you did last week when you said such and such, they will immediately say, I didn't say that. I don't know what's wrong with you, but I didn't say that. Well, clearly that's what you heard, but they deny it. And so they're making you question your memory, your thoughts, and your sanity. Not a fun place to be in at all. They want to rewrite history. They want to rewrite what you've been through. And they will attempt to do this if you try to sit down with them and talk to them and communicate like normal people do. We communicate with each other. They take what you're telling them and they shake their head, they call you crazy, and they say, well, that didn't happen. I didn't do that. That's not the way it was. It was like this. But you know in your gut, it wasn't like that. And the more you accept that, the deeper that this goes down into your memory and you start blaming yourself. So if this is happening to you, this is probably a red flag that you're in a relationship with a narcissist. Number 3, the silent treatment. This is when you challenge them to something. They hate that. So they go inward. They act like they're so hurt that you could even think that they would do such a thing. That to punish you, they withdraw themselves and they become quiet. They withhold affection, they withhold attention, they withhold just basic conversation with you. Why do they do that? They do that to cause you to chase after them. They need that validation. They need to know that they are important to you. And they need to know that they have you. They need to know that they've got lock and key and control of your emotions. So if you're with somebody who is giving you the silent treatment, when you're trying to communicate with them, I suggest that you get a notebook and you start writing these things down, which would be a good thing. Pick up a notebook today and take some notes. And, check these things off. If they are behaving in such a way, make a list, because not just one of these symptoms, because all of us have some tendencies to be a little narcissistic. But when you check, they've got that one, check, they've got that one, check, they've got that one, it's not you, my friend. You are checking off that you are in a narcissistic relationship. And the more boxes that are checked, the more chances, and the reality of it is that you probably are with a narcissist and you just had no clue. So sign number 4 is an emotional roller coaster. Oh God. I laugh now, but let me tell you, this was no laughing matter when you're walking through this. When you're navigating through this, you're in that amusement park with them. And you're either going round and round and round and round on the merry-go-round, or you're going up and down and up and down and up and down on the roller coaster. And your stomach is upset because you don't like amusement parks and you don't like roller coasters. And I certainly do not like going round and round and round. So this is no fun. Up and down. One day they're showering you with love, affection, attention. And this is in the beginning, because they're actually dangling that little bit of bait in front of you to see if you're going to grab it. When you grab a hold of it, how well are you hooked? These are these little things that they test us with. And when they pull back and you chase, that means they've got you on the hook and they're reeling you in a little bit by little bit. I love to fish. My husband and I are at the beach all the time. And these are things that he is teaching me about fishing. Is you got to let that fish grab that hook a little bit, but it's going to play with that hook. It's going to play with your bait. It's going to nibble at it. But when it grabs it, you pull it back a little bit. If they're nibbling on it, you pull that bait a little bit. If they come back at it, they usually will grab it. And when they grab it, they pull it down, and then your pole goes down. And then that's when you got the hook set. That's what they're doing to us as well. This emotional roller coaster, they are giving you the love bombing, the attention, um, all of these wonderful things that make you feel so loved, so seen, and so validated. And you fall in love with that. And then they start pulling it away and pulling it away and pulling it away, which makes you run and go towards it. That's that roller coaster or the merry-go-round, whichever one. That's what that is like. So if you're in a relationship with that is and I'm not giving you any particular order, that is a huge sign that who you are with is a narcissist. So that's sign number 4. Sign number 5, do they constantly compare you? Are they comparing you with their ex? Are they comparing you with their ex-girlfriend, their ex-wife? Oh, God, help us if they're comparing you with their ex-wife. Somebody at work. That's triangulation. They want you're in a state of constantly competing. You are competing for attention. You're competing with love. You are competing with affection, what you think is love. And you're constantly in that place of chasing and searching and doing everything that you can do to, to make them see you, validate you. But what actually is happening is they are getting value. Yeah. They are building themselves up in this constant place that they're worthy, they're special, they're somebody, they deserve this. That's what they need, because you see, they're very unsecure people. They're very insecure. So they need that from us, and we feed that to them. So if you are constantly being compared to someone, then it's possible that you are in a narcissistic relationship and don't know it. Number 6, oh boy, they shift the rules. Shifting the rules on you. I hate that when that happens. And it definitely has happened to me as well. No matter how hard you try, it's never good enough. They have moved that goalpost just a little higher, and you have to work harder and harder to please this person. That's so sad, because love is not like that. That's not love. Again, it's all about the chase. They need to be chased. They need to be validated. But in order for that to be that way for them, they have to devaluate us. They have to devaluate you. They have to make you feel that you are unworthy. Because when they do that, that builds them up higher. And it is a horrible cycle that we get caught in. That shifting those rules, that you're just not enough. and it keeps you just constantly working harder. I remember a situation where, I've never always, I kind of never really thought I was a great cook. It was something, I just do because, I have a husband and children, so you have to cook. But, it's not something that I'm really passionate about. I'd really, to tell you the truth, rather do yard work than to cook a meal. But, now I do enjoy cooking now, but it was, when I was younger. And so I kind of had that in my mind that I wasn't a good cook. Probably because, growing up, my brothers, my dad probably teased me about that. So I just kind of believed that about myself. And so when I got married to him and he had younger children, he thought he was a great cook. So he was always comparing my cooking to his cooking, and it was never good enough. And I remember one specific day when his youngest daughter, youngest daughter, she was about 7. Her favorite meal was biscuits and gravy. And it was a Sunday afternoon. Now, I absolutely love breakfast any time of the day, and so didn't he. And his youngest daughter, that was her favorite meal, was biscuits and gravy. So I cooked what I had. I did it for her. I asked her what she wanted. She wanted biscuits and gravy. He worked third shift, and he didn't get off until about 7. Well, he got off at 6 a.m. in the morning, an hour drive. So it was about 7 o'clock when he was getting home, and he went to bed. He slept most of the day till about 3 or 4. And so instead of dinner, we had breakfast because it was what she wanted. And any other time, that would have been just fine. But that day, it wasn't. He literally had to embarrass me in front of the children. In front of his children, he embarrassed me and just pushed the food away and said it was slop, that this isn't dinner. And really hurt me. It was something that is there, and I probably have. I'm aware of that, and probably when I cook now, because of that, I'm a little sensitive to that. That is what that is like. That that shifting the rules, because I thought he liked breakfast any time of day. We've had it plenty of times, but on that day, that rule had been changed and nobody told me about it. So that's number 6, shifting the rules. Number 7, this is the last one, walking on eggshells. So you are constantly careful of your own words and actions. So because of that day, of the rule changing and being disgraced in front of his children, I felt like I was always walking on eggshells with him. What do you want for dinner? Is this okay? I was thinking about making this, not sure of whether my decision was right or wrong. Constantly walking on eggshells, trying to make sure that I kept peace in the house. We watch our words, even our facial expressions. And I generally am somebody who has, if you watch me a lot, I have a lot of kooky facial expressions. Um, but being aware of that, I was belittled and told, that he didn't like the way I looked, about the way, when we were having discussions, usually when he was belittling me like a child, and I didn't quite agree with what he was saying. So maybe I might roll my eyes or look to the right or look down to the left, and he didn't like that. So being aware, those eggshells, being aware of that, going through that, if you are experiencing those things, these are all red flags that the relationship that you are in is possibly a narcissistic relationship. Fear is not love. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in a relationship like this and you are constantly tied up in anxiety, fear is not love. It is the way that they control us and manipulate us, but it is not love. If these signs are familiar to you, if you recognize any of them, if you feel like you are in a relationship with somebody who does any of these things to you, leave these comments below because I would like to support you. Um, you know, that's what we're here for, is to support each other. I want you to know you're not alone. We are here for you. So leave your messages. Let us know. I read all of them. My goal is so that your eyes would be opened. I didn't understand. I had no clue what I was feeling. I was so love bombed that I was constantly trying to get back to that place in the beginning when he loved me and when life was good and life was exciting. So I was constantly on this roller coaster. That is not love, ladies and gentlemen. That is control. That is manipulation. And you're worth more than that. So my goal is that your eyes would be opened so that you can take back your freedom. I want you to know that healing is possible with God's help. If you recognize these, call out to God, ask Him to help you, ask Him to give you strength, ask Him to help you move forward so that you can become all that God had created you to be. He loves you, He has a purpose for you, and your purpose is not to be kept in a cage and to be captive. And let me say another thing. For many of you that have went through these relationships and you're now free of them and you're not involved with a narcissist any longer, but you're still struggling, you can't trust anybody, you don't ever want to be in a relationship with anybody ever again, that's not what God intended for you either. God intended for you to live life and life abundantly. You are not, and I am not, supposed to live alone. We're supposed to have relationships and friendships and love. There is healing. Find a good group. Find a group that will help you, a group that understands you, and a group for support. Find yourself a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I am a minister, but I am not a therapist. I can pray for you. I have other resources for you, and I'll put those resources in the videos, but I'm not a therapist. But I am a minister. I do believe in prayer, and I do believe in God's healing. I thank you all for watching this. If you want to reach out to me, my email is in the message below. If you have friends that are going through something like this and they're questioning what is going on, send this video to them. This is how we help educate and we break free. Friends, I appreciate you, appreciate your support. Have a fantastic day. And until next time, be blessed.